Time is up. No, as usual, it just started. Welcome, my name is Ike, this is Switzerland. Play it with TAGN. Just like I tagged your mom yesterday. I didn't. Chill out. TAGN, the Angry Game News every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, on the channel Switzerland Play It. Here on Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, and KK are there too, but nobody's watching me there, so what does it matter, right? Yeah, we have quite a few news. We have a lot of the same news by different outlets, but I try to keep it interesting. It's not always an easy task. And on Monday, it's going to be a little bit longer because I cover like the last 3 days or so. And without further ado, let's get into it. We're going to have a bigger story. Don't know if I'm going to read the whole article about Superman in Black, which was cancelled. For reasons. Something has been cancelled from a platform, Limbo and Inside. Playdad's Classics, Limbo and Inside, leaving GRG.com on July 17th. GRG.com announced on Thursday that both of Playdad's grim but beloved titles, Limbo and Inside, will be leaving the DRM-free platform on July 17th. While there is no stated cause for the delisting, some have speculated that the ongoing legal spat between Playdad co-founders Dino Patti and Arndt Jensen could be to blame. I personally don't think that's what's going on here. With it more likely that Playdad is simply ending their investment on GRG.com platform. I'm sorry to inform you that Limbo and Inside will be removed from our store on July 17th, 2025, 3 p.m. Central Eastern, which is Central European Eastern, should be. We don't have any information on this discounts yet. Wish I could have better news for you, but grab it while it's still here. At this point, it doesn't look anything like a legal injunction that would require that the games to be removed from sale, especially with them readily available at some point surprising discounts on all other platforms: Epic Games, Steam, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile. Thanks to everyone for submitting, blah, blah, blah. I was pointed out on this news by Haste on the weekend. And I want just to give my 2 cents about this whole story. Speaking of Haste, ahoy there, ahoy Big Z, ahoy Godzilla, by the way, ahoy Ouch My Junk, and if she's still here, ahoy Ever Eden. My 2 cents about this, those 2 games being pulled from GOG.com. You shouldn't. You can do with your money whatever you want, but you shouldn't reward Playdad buying it now on GOG while it's still there. You should avoid such companies. If it would be the legal thing, just like this little article mentions, it would be gone on the other platforms too. So there's some dispute going on with Playdad and GOG for unknown reason. We might get more information later on, but you shouldn't reward companies who pull out their games from a platform that gives you like the DRM consumer and customer service based platforms like GOG. You just shouldn't reward them at this point. And I myself, I'm going to avoid Playdad in the future as much as possible completely. I liked Inside. I enjoyed Inside. I never played Limbo. Not really. Inside was fine. And those stories are not really there in those games, but the gameplay is fun. It makes like a little puzzle solving involved. The grim feeling about something is going to happen to your little character on screen and all that. But yeah, fuck Playdad in my opinion. That's all I can say. Limbo is $10, agreed. Is that the Hennessy quotes in the thumb? Yes, that's that guy in the background there. Not the news. I'm gonna avoid that too, because it looks horrible. I'm not gonna tell a lot about this article. Wait, no, seriously? There's a new Red Sonja movie? I did double take. Red Sonja, like that Red Sonja, the character from the Arnie film, I watched far too many times with my friends as a teenager and then quoted from the rest of my silly little life. And yeah, and the article tells us about how much in love that guy or girl was with the Red Sonja character. I liked Red Sonja, the original, and I'm not gonna watch this because it looks cheap as fuck. I mean, should we take a look-see at the trailer? You want a little look-see? I can't play too much trailer from now on. I mean, I can. It doesn't matter too much. It's just that Aniplex fucking claimed a whole newscast because I played a little bit of Demons Slayers. Red Sonja 2025. I'm just gonna show you like a few snippets here.
Why are you here?
It looks cheap. The CGI looks cheap.
He wants us to fight, or we both die.
The acting,
With damage I
the
can.
setting.
You know what, Red? You are quite the woman.
Everything looks like CW, like, if you know what I mean.
I am here to fight.
The camera movement not great in my opinion, and just the picture quality very off. But there you have it. Red Sonja is gonna have a new release this year. Remake with this Timu Clark character. She looks like what was her full name? Daenerys from Game of Thrones. She looks like a Timu version of her. Looks like a TV series, but it's not. Go watch it. Go watch it. I just wanted to point out there's a new Red Sonja. If you're a big fan of the old school Red Sonja, you might want to watch. I don't know. Final Fantasy producer not sure when or if mainline series will return to turn-based combat. The debate over the future of Final Fantasy, namely its approach to combat, continues, and at this time the question has been put to Final Fantasy XVI producer Naoki Yoshida, who admitted there is no clear-cut answer. Final Fantasy XVI was a radical departure from previous installments by being a completely real-time action game. Even skewed command menus present in the action-oriented Final Fantasy XV. During an interview at Anime Expo, Yoshida was asked whether the series would return to a turn-based system given the recent success of Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which was in turn inspired by earlier Final Fantasy games and Persona. With this question of turn-based versus action, it tends to isolate the gameplay to just the battle system, Yoshida told Anime News Network. That doesn't take into account what kind of game the creators want to deliver to players. For example, based on a certain graphical quality we want to present to our players or the narrative we want to deliver to our players. It relates to how we set up the game's systems around it. This includes the battle system, game design and gameplay feel. It's not a clear-cut answer whether it will become all turn-based or if it's going to become more action-based. Yeah, I don't know how to feel myself about that. I liked, for example, the Final Fantasy VII remake, the first part. I haven't played the second part yet. I like the first part. In a sense of visual, it looks fine. It plays well. It has almost no glitches or weird stiffness to it. So it feels like very intuitive to play the game itself. But what made, I think, Final Fantasy so big in the first place was probably like this turn-based, like arranging your party in this and that matter, and waiting for what's gonna do the enemy next in his next turn, or when he's gonna do his action and all that, and just playing it everything out, doing your tactics and all that. I think that what makes actually Final Fantasy, or made Final Fantasy really big. It started to feel weird with probably like the remakes, maybe. I didn't like at all Final Fantasy 15 and 16. I haven't played it, so I'm not sure if that's the way to go for Final Fantasy, the whole series. On the other hand, it's like a series that is not really connected to each other. Every part is different from each other. Despite the main title, Final Fantasy, you might see like the monsters the same, like the names are the same and all that, but despite that, the story is very different in each Final Fantasy. You have different plots of the military maybe getting into power, or some political plot, or some mythical creature arising and all that. So the story is always a different one. So why shouldn't you be able to make it again turn-based? But on the other hand, just because Clair Obscur had this big success doesn't mean like you need to go, because of the success of another game, back to turn-based in general. I read one of his books. It wasn't very good, and I disagree with his conclusions. Maybe. We're gonna, that story comes later, unfortunately. Or fortunately. Late for some reason, I was watching a YouTube vid about Jonathan Brandis' Rise and Fall. I don't know that, but good to have you here. Mainline numbered Final Fantasy games also tend to have a complete different settings, characters and gameplay, just what I said, systems, as well as work done on by different teams, with Yoshida emphasizing the latter. I'm not necessarily going to be on Final Fantasy 17, so we also don't want to obstruct or limit our future director or whoever will be producing the games like 17 or even 18. We don't want to put them on a rail. It's funny that he talks about we like he is the big guy at Square Enix. I'm not sure about that. Final Fantasy 16 released on Xbox Series X and S last month, following its original launch on PS5 in 2023, and then its release on Steam last year. It marks a shift on Square Enix's strategy to move away from console exclusives, with Final Fantasy Tactics Evalis Chronicles releasing in September for multiple platforms. Yeah, he didn't told us a lot what is going to be the future of Final Fantasy, how it's going to be the next one and all that. He just doesn't want to exclude like this action-based gameplay. You can feel however you want. I'm not going to play 16 because, what was that, 2.5, 3 weeks ago? I've read the first gay kiss happened in Final Fantasy history, in Final Fantasy 16, so not very interested anymore in 16 at all. How do you feel about gay kisses in 16? I feel this guy. Repair experts call Switch 2 Pro controller piss poor in scathing review. It's not a real review, it's more like a teardown and repair guide. This is a piss-poor excuse for a controller. That's how repair-focused YouTube channel iFixit starts its negative review of the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. The repair and tech experts suggest the pricey controller is a nightmare to repair and contains hardware that will likely fail on one day. And all of this for the low price of $85 US. Yikes. On July 11th, as spotted by Nintendo Live, iFixit posted their Switch 2 Pro controller review on YouTube, and the results are very, very bad. The repair experts who championed the repairability, sustainability, and quality didn't mince words about Nintendo's new and expensive controller. For example, it's an absurdly difficult to replace the controller's built-in battery, which will eventually fail like all batteries and will need to be replaced. To do so, you have to do all of this. Remove the top plastic face plate held down by tons of adhesive to reach the 7 screws. Then remove finicky plastic wedges sections. Then, using more force than expected, yank off the 2 thumbsticks. Next, remove more screws. Then remove another plastic covering. After that, remove the bumpers. Then take out more screws and disconnect the rumble packs. Finally, remove a few more hidden screws, and now you can remove the internal guts of the controller and reach the battery. And that doesn't sound like a lot actually, just by reading it, but if you watch the video, it looks really ridiculous. It feels like Nintendo put as much fucking parts and plastic plates and little pieces together just to make it more difficult to repair in the first place. And all those parts, if they are loose and if they need to be screwed in, just makes the product more expensive, because usually somebody has to manually screw it down, something at least, or put it together and all that. And the more parts you have, the more work you have to do. And you see it in this little tear down, how to get to the battery, which is behind it. You might be better off probably by Dremel a hole in the back plate somewhat and get to the battery this way. But he shows it and it looks really ridiculous and it doesn't look fun. And it's an expert. And even when you watch the video, you see even he has like troubles with getting to that battery and almost missing screws, almost breaking stuff and all that, which is not a good sign. If a repair expert has like difficulties getting products apart, taking them apart to find what needs to be replaced, especially battery, you could make a back plate just to uncover that back plate and get to the battery. And it doesn't matter if it's a replaceable battery itself or if it's a battery pack like that. You should make it easier. So, and they give us the tip, yeah, just buy a different company's controller. The company suggests gamers buy third-party controllers that contain easier to access batteries and better thumbsticks, like the Elvis 2 Pro from Gullikit. A cash grab riding high on Nintendo's Nintendo brand is how iFixit summed up the Pro Controller 2. And yeah, seems like it. While the controller feels great in your hands and has some nifty extra buttons, it seems it's far from being pro-grade hardware. Yeah, there you have it. I like to when stuff can be repaired fairly easy, you know. You might want to save the environment, not throwing away too much fucking plastic and all that, which is a good thing in my opinion. If you keep like your waste low in general, that's nothing to blame here in that sense for repair guys. But having Nintendo made such a product that they clearly don't want to be repaired by anybody else. They have probably like mechanics and tools to open it easier and quicker and all that, but why Nintendo? Just why, you know? Complete demontage. Give me 10 years and I'll be looking up this video to repair one of these for a Rumble repair video. Maybe you will, maybe not. Maybe it's gonna be like me and my last attempt to repair my Pro 8-bit Pro Duo controller, which was a good controller, but getting to the thing and replacing like the cable, because the cable burned out actually at one bending point there, and I could have I tried to cut it and replace it, like make it a little bit shorter, and that was also a nightmare. So, and I just threw it away and got me a new one. A wireless one this time, unfortunately. But yeah, have fun, I guess, in 10 years. Games here has controllers with all joysticks. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't buy a $85 original controller anyway, so I would go for another one of 8-bit though. They are absolutely fantastic in general, and very fairly priced, you know. And you get like Switch versions with the buttons reversed and all that on the faceplate, and you have some modular ones and all that. So why waste like a third of the price more on a controller that hates you? The company just literally hates you. I mean, Dreamcast used magnets for anti-drift. It's designed to break. I've never liked Xbox style controllers, and that looks like one. Those Pro controllers, I think the same style Nintendo had since the Wii era, pretty much. At least different companies, and I don't mind. The Xbox 360 controller is, I think, peak controller in my opinion. I wish Microsoft would still produce 360 controllers for PC with cable. It was like super fairly cheap made in that sense. Very accessible for everybody. You paid, at least here in Switzerland, you paid like 35, 40 Swiss francs, which was back then when it was released about the same price. They were on par with the US dollar. Now the Swiss francs is more worth, by the way. So you paid like 40 bucks for a very good controller, and I abused my controller quite a lot. I shouldn't have done that. I should have bought like just replacements, 2 more for stock. But yeah, the 360 was for me like peak actually controller. Loved it. Yeah, probably like when I watched a repair video for my broken Wii U screen, it was way too complicated to repair one of those. Yeah, I mean that screen stuff is a little bit more understandable to replace those. It's a little bit more understandable. Pretty sure all electronics now are built that way. No, all Switch stuff is not Hull. It's not with magnets. Because I reported on that. Ouch, my junk. Nintendo has decided to go with the mechanical stuff because the strong magnets on the Switch 2, they are too strong to have magnets in the controller. They would like interfere with the thumbsticks. The Super Nintendo's shaped controller from 8-bit though is nice, but the buttons give out faster in them. Hyperkin makes new 360 style controllers. The 360 controller is most versatile on PC. I have a box full of 360 controllers to repair. Yeah, fun. I like the DualSense Edge. Super expensive, but I can fight against keyboard warriors. Which games? Oh, 360, man. That was peak. You know what is peak too? Tom Holland in the new Christopher Nolan's movie, The Odyssey. That was so far a peak career for him. Spider-Man star Tom Holland says Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey is going to be unlike anything we have ever seen. I don't think so, but he seems to be very impressed. He may have starred in the 3 of the most successful films of all time. Starred in the 3 most successful films of all time. But for Tom Holland, they all sound like they've been bumped down a notch following his experience in the highly anticipated Christopher Nolan film, The Odyssey. Speaking to GQ about the upcoming movie that also stars Matt Damon, Anne Hathaway, and Robert Pattinson, Holland teased that we better be prepared for what's coming. It was amazing, the job of my lifetime. Of a lifetime, not mine. Of a lifetime. Without a doubt, the best experience I've ever had on a film set, Holland revealed. Incredible, it was exciting, it was different, and I think the movie is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. It should come as no surprise that that Holland is so hyped for the film, given the excitement that it's already building for Nolan's next project. Adapting one of the oldest stories in human history, the Odyssey, will tell the epic tale of Odysseus, or Ulysses. I think that's the another English name, Ulysses, right? Who, after a decade at war, heads home on a journey that will be just as long, while his son, Telemachus, Holland, waits for him. But while Odysseus faces all manner of gods and monsters on the journey, his son is left with his mother, Penelope, who is having to refuse a variety of suitors that are competing for her hand in marriage. The story homes what might be the first ever hero in literature, dating back to 8 BC. Sure, 8 BC. You forgot like 2 zeros at least, but whatever. But for Holland, the film is full of them. Oi, Bimo. I love the 360 controller. I've had to repair the R1 and L1 buttons many times of those Logitech controllers, though. I mean, those are fairly on all the controllers easier accessible, right? The bumpers. They don't use enough solder on them to reinforce them. Solder is not to reinforce anything. I don't know what you mean with reinforcing with solder. At least the usual solder. I'm not excited for this movie. Neither am I. I mean, I really enjoyed the Odyssey, especially if you extend it and read the Trojan War at some same time. I've read both the Odyssey and the Trojan War. I think I like the Trojan War more because it goes a little bit more into the gods, especially Athena, you know. But that's just me. Read it as a kid is that Matt Damon. Do we see Matt Damon here? I mean, here, yeah, you see Matt Damon. That was like pretty much the first picture that was leaked. Matt Damon as Odysseus. And we have not a lot more. I think that's still like very, very contained, the whole leak stuff. Actually, it is like what? Suppose that the amount require extra solder to prevent from the peeling off of the controller. Well, then it's a bad design, yeah. If it uses solder to reinforce anything, fuck that controller. Matt Damon. He likes apples. No, he likes to show it to others. How the others like them apples. Matt Damon has always been a hero of mine, and Hathaway has always been a hero of mine. So to share the scenes with them, to learn from them, to become friends with them, I couldn't have asked for a better job, Holland said. I'm so proud of the work we've done. I've done. I came to work every day with a real sense of purpose and point to prove, and I'm so grateful to Chris to have given me that opportunity. As is compulsory for any Nolan film, there is still an air of mystery about the project, even for a story that's almost 2,700 years old. As it stands, Holland and Damon are the only cast members whose characters have been confirmed, along with Charlize Theron, who will be playing the witch goddess Circe, or however you pronounce it in English. Which actually is supposedly the name for church. Kirche. Church comes from the German Kirche, and Circe is the origin of that. Which is interesting, I think, but yeah, just a side note there. And is responsible for, at one point, turning Odysseus' crew into pigs. Given Holland's mention of filming scenes with Hathaway, it feels safe to assume that she's playing Penelope in the epic adventure. And it goes on and on and on. And down here we get like the list. I haven't looked at the names prior to that, actually never, because I'm not super interested in that this movie. Despite being a great story, I loved the story. I enjoyed reading the book back then, which was 10 years ago or so. But man, Mia Goth in it, Zendaya can't afford a family name here. What the fuck? I just don't like that bitch. Elliot Page, you know, Elliot Page, and all kinds of others, movie stars, which I don't care at all. And his last movie I saw was Tenet, and I really didn't enjoy Tenet. I watched it twice. I thought, like, because I heard from other reviewers, just you need to watch it again to like appreciate it really and to understand it. And it wasn't the understanding; it was just a meh movie for me, man. I really didn't enjoy Tenet. Watching it twice, and I haven't seen anything new that made me appreciate the story more, just because it was all in reverse, merging in each other. Whatever, man. I like most of Nolan's movies, but in my opinion, he is not like the master. I mean, I have to correct myself. I've also watched Oppenheimer. It is like a history movie in that sense, and it is a very emotional movie about Oppenheimer. But other than that, tone it down. He's not a movie god. He's a good creator of movies, but he's not like the highest movie god out there. People, man, people. John Solo, ahoy. Is John Solo John Thunder? No, he can't be John Thunder. Let me scroll up quickly. I've only seen 3 Matt Damon movies. Jason Bourne will single-handedly kill all the gods. Yeah, I liked all the Bourne movies, to be honest. And I like Matt Damon in Dogma and all those silly movies too, you know. I don't know when Hollywood changed to liking little pussy boys that look like they live on a soy butt. Don't like it. It is what it is. Ever even. I've seen 1 or 2 Bournes. Dogma, Elysium. Elysium is actually really nice, I think. And he can really act well. Matt Damon can act pretty well, actually. I enjoy him in everything I've seen him so far. I have zero issues with him. He is seems to be a very chill human being. Hollywood loves to make Soylent man looking strong. I mean, he's playing a kid, right? He's playing the son of Odysseus. And how old is the son? I think in the story he's like when his father leaves Greece. Greek he is 12ish, something like that. I don't know. It makes them to think there's hope for a regular soy latte, skinny jeans wearing losers. That's a mouthful there. Switch hitter. Tom Holland is gay. He's not gay. He didn't he just married Zendaya? Doesn't Zendaya have now a real name? Zendaya Holland? Not sorry for shit either. Fuck them all. In general, I agree, actually. Tenet was okay, but I will and John. Tenet was okay, but I think Nolan is overhyped as a director. I don't know if it's overhyped, but many people like praise him a little bit too much, yes. You heard me, lol, I stand by it. Nolan movies have the super loud, distorted music. Especially Tenet was like horrible. In other movies, it seems the mixing way better, and he intended to make Tenet like that. I don't know why you would break your movie with stupid music being too loud, but it's his work, I guess. I like Elysium better than most actors current year. Yeah, I agree. Tom Holland is a fruitcake. Okay. They got married. I think they got married. At least they are now together since the first Spider-Man movie they did. Pretty much. I thought Tom Holland was legit gay. I think he might be gay too. Especially, there was a movie I saw with him. I don't remember the title, but in that movie, the story was like, when men speak, it destroys everything pretty much. So they need to communicate only with sign language and all that. And the men are excluded from the woman communities and they are living all together, and it looks all very gay, you know, if you have only men together and they're living together without any words. Very gay, very fucking gay. And he's being the hero at the end of the movie because he opens his mouth and whatever. It was a weird fucking movie. I fucking worked to that movie to the end, and that's all that it is left. It has the community, the gay man community, pretty much. You can look it up, Deaf Tom Holland movie, and you will find anything. I thought Tom Holland was a legit gay. Zendaya is a fucking man. She looks not pretty. She looks not pretty. Yeah, that's all I can say. But a tail on that thing and you'd get a monkey. Okay. I mean, it's your opinion, John Solo 42. It's your opinion. Nolan reminds me of Nicholas Winding Refn, where his films are style over substance. No, he can put substance into his movies, that's for sure, but how well does he deliver in every movie? Nah, I don't know. Every time I hear Zendaya's name, I'm reminded of Peter Jackson's Dead Alive Braindead, where the natives call the curse of the monkey bite. They say a word that sounds exactly like her name. I never watched that, but now I'm a little bit intrigued. He'll swing from whichever side of the plate Hollywood tells him to. That was funny. Look up the intro to the movie and you'll hear it too. I watched a long time ago. I'm trying to keep that in my mind. This one is a nice and unique little piece here. 27 years later, this uncanny hero of law mod makes The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time the game it was always meant to be, Ace Attorney. So this team here, what was the newer team, made a mod with assets from the game. If you have the game, the ROM or the V emulator ROM on your system, you can download this mod. It takes the assets from the Ocarina of Time, the old Link here, dresses him in a suit and puts him in court, and you're gonna have this whole game, Ace Attorney game, just with all the Zelda adventure characters, which is funny. I've watched a little bit gameplay looking for this. If you're into Ace Attorney, those court case games, you should check this out, man. It looks like a very decent mod. And you have like a discovery, you have like talking to witnesses outside the courtroom and to find out what really happened. And in the courtroom, you're gonna fight Ganondorf and all that, which is just funny. I think if you like Zelda games, especially Ocarina of Time and Ace Attorney games, you have to check this out. All the articles, as usual, linked down below in the video description. More Switch. I could see Mark try this game. All right, I'm off to do white stuff with white people later, Gators. Bye, John Solo, and I don't know who John Solo really is. Never seen him in my chat, but new people. Always welcome new people. Switch 2, Nintendo Switch Online game analysis shows latency issues. Nintendo Switch 2 kicked off its launch with GameCube games on Switch Online, but unfortunately it's not entirely perfect, with some issues having been noticed, particularly with latency. Right now, the emulation Nintendo has it in place, it isn't up to snuff compared to the original GameCube releases. Everything available right now, F-Zero GX, Zelda the Wind Waker, yes, I do that intentionally, Soul Calibur 2 and Super Mario Strikers is affected. In a test done by Digital Foundry for F-Zero GX, the original GameCube version has a latency result of 71.8 milliseconds based on a 50 sample average. For the Nintendo Switch 2 version, the result is an average of 124.1 milliseconds. There's 3 more frames of lag over actual GameCube hardware. Even portable mode had a result of 113.1 milliseconds. For titles like Zelda and even Mario Strikers, latency isn't a huge deal. But especially for F-Zero GX, where you need to make snap decisions, it's insignificant. Latency also matters with fighting games, and therefore Soul Calibur 2. Another issue with Nintendo Switch Online GameCube emulation for Switch 2 relates to controller accuracy. With F-Zero GX, we can see that the velocity curve isn't mapped correctly in the new emulator. There's more sensitivity with steering compared to the GameCube original. Yeah, which is weird, right? You're gonna pay for those games online when you get it on the eShop by Nintendo, but it seems to be not a great experience. It seems to be noticeable with especially F-Zero and Soul Calibur 2. And future releases. So Nintendo, I think, already addressed that a little bit. They are trying to improve that in future updates. Yeah, maybe we are just a little bit too comfort, too cozy in today's time, like pretending we notice everything too, you know. Could be a legit case though. I don't know, but Digital Foundry usually does a great job with hardware and software analysis. So I'm gonna believe them. If they tell me it's too big of a latency to have fun, it most likely is like that. Somebody who had too much fun and now wants her own story to be told, I think. Superman's Rachel Brosnahan wants Lois Lane to get powers in the next Superman story. After the glowing reception of James Gunn's Superman, it's understandable for the cast to look to the future of their characters and other DC familiars that they loved to meet along the way. David Cornswet has confessed that he'd love his Clark Kent bump into Dick Grayson, aka Nightwing, to apply some uncle energy into their universe, while Rachel Brosnahan is interested in crossing paths with Wonder Woman, as revealed in our exclusive interview. Although for the star behind the Daily Planet's best reporter, the wish list doesn't stop there. After seeing what heroes can do in this universe, Brosnahan has hinted that she'd be keen to see Lois Lane get some powers of her own as well. In a Wired Q&A, the cast answered 50 questions about Superman lore, one of which was if Lois Lane ever gets powers. Yeah, which she gets multiple times. Even I know that, and I don't read comics from DC or Marvel, for that matter. But are those comics the good ones? That's the other question, right? The topic sparked a conversation about whether Gunn has ever considered giving Brosnahan's take on the character a boost. I think about it every time I see her with powers. I'm like, I know it. I know it's Rachel's. She was so happy to be cast as Lois Lane, and another part of her was like, I want to be able to fly. There have been a few key moments in DC history when Lois Lane took to the skies alongside Clark, including All-Star Superman, which the new film drew inspiration from. Currently, though, Lois has taken up the title of Superman woman once more in the comics, which Gunn pointed out and which Brosnan is enthusiastically hinted at. Making a subtle plea to the audience, Brosnan added, "Tell James you want a sequel where Lois Lane flies." She wants to be the main attraction already. I don't know about her performance in this movie because I haven't watched the movie yet. I'm not keen to watch it. I still think it looks bad overall. It looks still cheap and all that. So, but she wants to be now the star in the next upcoming, as soon as possible. She wants to fly in the Superwoman movie or whatever. Who knows? Who knows what she is really thinking, right? But yeah, my 2 cents to the whole Superman issue right now is what I've seen so far in every trailer, in every article, and everything about this movie. It looks like they put too many characters already in this new reboot. In my opinion, for my feels, it doesn't look like much fun for adults. It seems to be going well with kids, with younger audiences. They seem to enjoy it. But yeah, fuck James Gunn. Fuck his Superman, in my opinion at least. Ahoy, dear Sarge. What the fuck is Rachel Brosnan? That's the Lois Lane, the new Lois Lane in the new Superman movie. That's Rachel Brosnan. She can get on an airplane. Yeah, and it's just weird. She wants just to be the main role, the main actor in the movie. That's what she wants. Because I hope for her best in the sense of that she knows her co-star, the main attraction, the guy who plays Superman. He's not flying really. I hope she knows that. You are also not gonna fly for real. It's all CGI and some wind blower blowing in your face to make your hair wavy and I hope she knows that. I really hope she knows that. Make it fancy and get business class. Yeah. The dog rules the kids is in probably. The dog lures them in pretty well, yes. It seems like it's going well so far for the movie, but not for adults that much. We're gonna see maybe this week, like all the numbers, when all the numbers are in, and next weekend, in comparison, how much fall off we have in the ticket sales and all that, right? We had a fall off in this story here. I paid a little bit attention, but yeah, it's a weird story overall. Subnautica 2 saga turns in messy. Former devs sue Krafton as publisher accuses them of betrayal. Last week, Krafton shared the surprising news that Unknown Worlds leadership had left the company, including CEO Ted Gill, co-founder and creative director Charlie Cleveland, and co-founder and technical director Max McGuire. The reason was given for the departure. No reason was given for the departure, nor statements from the departing leadership. But Krafton claimed that the Unknown Worlds trio had left despite its efforts to keep them involved in the game's development. Steve Papatoutis, the previously CEO and of Striking Distance, would take over as Unknown Worlds CEO, it said. It was later confirmed that Krafton was delaying the release of Subnautica 2, which is the second most wished for upcoming game on Steam 2026. I didn't know that. It seems to be weirdly enjoyed, the Subnautica, the first one, and many people wanted the second one already. So the second most wished on Steam. That is a statement there, and that's why we have those numbers we're going to see right now. A Bloomberg report alleged that Krafton had made the decisions months before it was due to pay a 250 million US dollars bonus to the development team, which leadership had planned to share with the studio's employees of around 100. The sequel's delay was against the wishes of the studio's former leadership, it's claimed, and by delaying the game into next year, the company is now unlikely to hit the targets which would trigger the payout. So they had like some sort of a deal. If you made it happen in this and that amount of time, you're going to get this bonus of 250 million US dollars, which it seems they have not met and they couldn't met and whatever, right? Responding to Bloomberg's reporting, Krafton, they changed the name here. Krafton issued another statement on Thursday claiming that the delay was not influenced by any control or financial considerations, but instead to improve the game, contradicting a social media post by Subnautica's former director, claiming that it was ready for early access release. Furthermore, Krafton's new statement accused the former leadership team of abandoning their responsibilities in order to work on other projects, including a film, which it said led to delays for the game, and claimed that 90% of the 250 million payout was allocated to the three executives. So Krafton accused those three guys I just mentioned earlier. They were delaying the game, but still wanting the money, the bonus money, but allocated 90% of those 250 million bonus to themselves, which, if that's true, it's like a fucking scummy move. So you're not really sharing those 250 million with the 100 workers, are you? And allocating it probably to the movie, which you were not in discussion with your Krafton money giver. So what's going on here, right? Krafton believes that the absence of core leadership has resulted in repeated confusion in direction and significant delays in the overall project schedule, it said. The current early access version also falls short in terms of content volume. We are deeply disappointed by the former leadership's conduct, and above all, we feel a profound sense of betrayal by their failure to honor the trust placed in them by our fans. It sounds, at least from what Krafton is telling us, like it's a real betrayal. Like you getting all that money and just giving it to yourself in the leadership. And then the leadership leaves the boat. Like, oh, we can't just work anymore here because the relation with Krafton, with our investor, is so bad. And yeah, we just have to sign off. And so what happened to all the money and all that? I don't know. We might find out soon enough what happened really. On Friday, the drama deepened as former creative director Cleveland claimed the former Unknown Worlds leadership had filed a lawsuit against Krafton. So now those three guys are suing Krafton, which seems like a shit show in general. Everybody is blaming everybody else. Suing a multi-billion-dollar company in a painful, public, and possibly protracted way was certainly not on my bucket list, he wrote. But this needs to be made right. Subnautica has been my life's work, and I would never willingly abandon it or the amazing team that has poured their hearts into it. Hard to say who is really lying here or who is in the rights, right? The dog loser, he's such. That's all I'm seeing in the chat for now. Did I miss maybe YouTube something? No, everything okie dokie. Given these circumstances, Krafton has determined that transparent communication is necessary and has chosen to confirm that... Oh, I just skipped this part. Sorry. In one final twist, a selection of confidential slides showing Subnautica 2's development progress leaked online, suggesting that its content had been downsized due to missed deadlines. In an unprecedented move, Krafton published a press release soon after the leak, confirming the documents are indeed real. So they had this ongoing battle, the leadership of the developers, the unknown worlds or whatever the name was. The leadership left that company because of this ongoing battle, this feud with the investors, and then just leaks were published, and Krafton feels like if we keep it with transparency, we're gonna confirm those leaks are being real and all that, and hopefully for the player it's gonna be better at the end. Given these circumstances, Krafton has determined that transparency communication is necessary and has chosen to confirm the authenticity of the document. It said, Krafton believes that minimizing speculation and ensuring accurate communication with the players must take precedence. According to Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier, the former employee's lawsuit against Krafton is for breach of contract. So the three executives who left the development company think it's a breach of contract for whatever reason. Looks like a whole shit show, but a lot of money is involved in this Subnautica story. Interesting in general, but very, very confusing. Little side note. Rumored unforgettable RPG Dragon Quest VII tipped for PS5 release. Nothing confirmed, but it seems like somebody MP1 first, or MP first, claimed to have seen internal documents which allude to the re-release, and it's apparently planned to launch within the next year or so. I never played a Dragon Quest, if you believe it or not, but it seems like you're gonna get maybe a treat on the PS5. If it's gonna be a remake, that's a different story. If it comes out, they should make it a remake. They can't just take like the style of a DS release. They need to remake it. Otherwise, you're gonna be probably disappointed. Not a lot of new players are gonna enjoy old stylish PS1 stuff. It's my backlog. Never played it. Remake, yeah. But it's not confirmed, like I said. It's just a little side note. If you're a Dragon Quest fan, keep that in mind. If you have a PS5, that is. I just find like Square Enix has priced some other games remakes, especially the Dragon Quest 3 HD2 remake on Steam for $60. A little bit too high for my taste, man. It looks fine, but it doesn't look $60 fine. Oh, crazy world. Looks like both sides made mistakes. I think it's gonna be a shit show. We can enjoy this show, Sarge, but I don't think it's a win for the players at the end. It seems like it's gonna be delayed. It's gonna have worse quality in the game, because they have not the guaranteed or the promised bonus in the development team. So yeah, either the player is going to be the winner or the loser in the end. It's in my backlog. Oops, I meant 7, but so is 8 on the 3DS. Never got into Dragon Quest. Me neither. A classic case of if you don't tell anyone I have a wooden pecker, I won't tell anyone you have a splinter in your mouth. Why do you need to make everything gay, like in gay analogies? That's Arch. Too cartoony. I mean, it's Dragon Quest was always like that. Even the old Final Fantasy stuff was like this art style of cartoonish. Nothing too too new there. Origin Thunder, if I didn't say it already. No stream for me today. I will just do some video editing. Do that. Nintendo and Universal Pictures seemingly pursuing Donkey Kong movie. Donkey Kong could be getting his own movie based on a new filing. Nintendo and Universal Pictures jointly filed a copyright for an untitled project based on the franchise. The listing doesn't include any details, but it's classified as a motion picture. That doesn't really leave much room to speculate other than a new Donkey Kong movie. A new Donkey Kong movie? You mean a Donkey Kong movie? I don't know any old Donkey Kong movie for that matter. I might be blind and never saw it, but I'm pretty sure there was never a Donkey Kong movie. The deadline of recommendation for the filing was June 5th, 2026. The date of the execution is listed for 2 dates in May. In other words, this is a pretty recent filing. This wouldn't be Donkey Kong's only recent appearance on the big screen. The character had a fairly sizable role in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. It's also possible that DK could appear in the next year's film follow-up as well. Yeah, most likely if a new Mario movie comes. Donkey Kong has been seeing a push as of late. The character will be starring in the Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is the first time the series has received a 3D platformer since Donkey Kong 64. Outside of Mario and potentially Donkey Kong, there's also a live-action movie based on the Legend of Zelda. That project was delayed to May 2026 from April or some shit, like 3 weeks, and because of time scheduling issues, blah blah blah. A little while back, you can read Shigeru Miyamoto's statement about blah blah here. Yeah, I mean it's not a surprising move. It's not a surprising move, especially they are building up already hype with the Donkey Kong Bonanza game. Kids are gonna storm the theaters with a Donkey Kong movie for sure. And they produced the Mario Bros. Movie fairly cheap, right? Big success, $1 billion movie and all that almost. And it cost them like including the marketing stuff, I think it was roughly total $150 million, and made almost $1 billion in ticket sales. So they made a good buck on the Mario movie, and this one is gonna be probably even bigger because just kids are gonna love the game Bonanza. And kids can't wait for this movie then to come out. So Universal and Nintendo, movie money making machine there. I'm just saying. No, it wouldn't have to be gay. It could be a woman with splinter mouth. Yeah, sure. I whatever, Sarge. I know what's going on in your head. Don't tell me otherwise. Well, on Super Nintendo, they were limited to 16-bit graphics, but they tried to make the monsters look very detailed and sometimes scary. Dragon Quest is like Disney-style anime. Wrong! Dragon Quest is absolutely Toei-style, meaning super connected style-wise to Dragon Ball. Old Akira Toriyama style. Not Disney, fuck Disney. Isn't Seth Rogen the voice of DK in the Mario movie? It was, and he's gonna be again in the Donkey Kong movie for sure. Kid, Dad, Mom, Nintendo bricked my Switch 2. Can you buy me another one? Has no relations right now, but yes, that's gonna be awesome. Kids gonna tell them parents. That would be automatic no watch for me because of Seth Rogen. I mean, I watched it in German, so I don't care. I don't care for the Seth Rogen part. But yeah. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Black Superman. Black Superman. Superman. I'm not going to read the whole article because, you know, it's a maybe. Let's see how it goes. Time-wise, we are already a little bit over, but it's, like I said, Monday, it's always like that. More news because weekend. The Black Superman movie was deemed too woke by the CEO, who doesn't know what that means.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
I'm blaming the writer of this article for the nonsense here. Not in particular the guy who is being talked about here. Mark Griffin, you're lame. We were supposed to get a Black Superman movie. During a 2021 interview with Polygon, author and journalist Ta-Nehisi Coates, who was hired by Warner Bros. To write the film, opened up about his excitement over the opportunity. His greatest hope for what would ultimately a major twist on Superman's cinematic legacy, that people could have an experience of their own with an art and allow his Superman to have his chance. I think your writing is a little bit off there, but English, motherfucker, you know. I'm bad at English, so. All signs point to Coates' Superman not having his chance. According to a new report from the Wall Street Journal, the studio's Superman reboot announced in 2021, which was to be produced by J.J. Abrams, goodness me, I'm glad it's less worse with Gunn, was dismissed by WCEO David Zaslav in 2022 for the movie's racial themes. According to anonymous insiders, anonymous is always good if you have no names with legit like concerns and knowledge and expertise behind it. James Gunn, who now runs DC Studios for WB, still thinks the movie could have happened. Although Coates' film wasn't part of his initial DCU slate announcement. I know the internet loves the new co-opted definition of the term woke. I know that the crusades against wokeness, a term given to seemingly anything with the message that isn't straight, white, and male-centered, are all the rage these days. Emphasis on rage. Oh, thank you that you are not showing that you are a racist asshole there, Mr. Griffin. That it's the emphasis is on rage and not on white or straight. It sounds almost like you are not straight, at least. And yes, I know that in Zaslav's case, things being woke is likely a euphemism for no black stories allowed if said stories challenge or simply state a historical fact opposed to the opinion of loud, rich white people. Sure, that was probably Zaslav's thought. Man, those Negroes, I don't like them Negroes too many in my movies. I can't have them Negroes in my movies. Let's show them my white old ass power here in this company. Bullshit. But we can all agree that pejoratively calling something like Superman, whether black or white, woke is a little foolish. Question mark. No, it's foolish that you have your fucking eye on that. I think Zaslav meant with woke like it's too much of like messages, too much of messages around our real society, too much about that crap about racial injustice and all that shit, which doesn't make the movie more appealing to the broader audience in America, probably, you know. But that's just an idea, thought in my head, man. And he goes on in this article. I don't know if no, I'm not going to read anything. He goes into the history where the word woke came from, and that it's all about racial injustice, and he needs to keep up the term woke as something super good. I don't think that's a good way to put things in. And he goes on and on and on and on. But he's an expert about comics, so he knows what he's talking about. I just find this whole story about Zaslav finding it too woke, and probably I don't know the script, if there was a script or anything like that. If it was really too woke, I don't know for sure. But I think he had his reasons. I think he knew like too much of that crap might be way worse than anything we have right now with Superman. You know? But that's again just me, man. That's just me. He's a good voice actor. Hamill, you're talking about Hamill, J.J. Abrams. Blah, blah. He's a good voice actor for Joker. Yeah, Mark Hamill is a good character, a good guy for Luke, but that's it too. Nobody wants to see a motherfucking black Superman, says Bimo. Hi, Bimo. How about you idiots make a Blade movie? Why is that so hard? Blade is Marvel. We are talking here about DC. Detective comics, man. Come on. Get your facts right there, Bimo. For fuck's sake. Can we have a white or oriental guy play Black Panther? We had that already, Sarge. If you would wake up earlier and watch more of my news, I already pointed it out that we had at one point a white Black Panther, and let's see how that goes. If that's gonna be into a real comic soon enough with all the pages, you know. Oriental Panther. It wouldn't be enough to cast a black actor, but Black Superman would need to overcome modern day racists. That's the problem, probably. That was probably the problem, that it was going too deep into real societal issues, which movies, games, shows are escapism for us. We want to enjoy good stories that are not really connected to our real lives. That's just the gist of it. We don't want to see like blaming us, no matter if you're black, white, yellow, whatever, if you're being blamed for whatever in the show you're watching, like for seasons and seasons, being still blamed out of the TV screen. We don't want to see that. And this guy, this writer, Mark Griffin, wants to see that. Otherwise, why he tries to keep it up like this racial fucking diversion of the people? Why do we want to uphold that? Get rid of racism by not being all the time a racist yourself. Because that's what he does in this article. It's just a pain in the ass to actually read the whole thing. Telling me about history. Dude, for 6 generations, the US had no slavery really anymore. For 6 generations at least. A generation is 20, 25 years roughly. That's one generation. You had zero connection to races, really, in that sense. You were no slave anymore for at least 6 generations. You had no feelings towards that. Just because your skin color is darker than mine, you are not a bigger slave than I am. So just shut it, man. It's lame. It's very, very lame. I don't know about those people, man. Would Black Superman be late saving people because he keeps getting stopped by the police for no reason? He doesn't care for the police at this point. He's super black man. Black Superman would have been a killer sneaker collection for sure. Maybe like selling clothes and shoes, who knows. How about Luke Cage movie? Luke Cage movie. I mean, I like the show. The first season was all right. I think it had the second season. Never watched that. Swiss Panther. Would his kryptonite be a huge booty? Oh man, the curves, man. Booties and shits. We was kings. Can't wait for the ghost of Wokai. I'm sick of all of those ads for that game, John. Which one, Ghost of Yotai? The game play-wise is hopefully all right. We need a memory man, big titty super villain to fight orgasm. What?
It is man.
That's all I can contribute to your phrase there, ball of tennis, ahoy. White people in the US were the only ones who fought a war to end slavery. I think black people were included on one side, fighting against slavery too, right? But me and history about the US, don't ask me about that. Don't ask me about your paying taxes more than you paid under the king back then. Just saying. Black Superman would have just been an invincible thief and taking all the shoes, hubcapes and TVs. Shit. But still see them on Twitter. You will survive that. Anyhow, how do you really feel about Black Superman and being too woke for Warner Bros? Little side note, this game is gonna come out. Kevin Levine's Judas is old school. You buy the game and you get the whole thing. It's pretty much by the makers of BioShock, and if you liked BioShock, this game is supposedly, you buy it, no online functionality, nothing really, and you just shoot your way through the story. That's what he tells us, the maker of this game. Keep an eye open for Judas if you liked BioShock, that is, in particular. More Donkey Kong news. Donkey Kong Bonanza will have some frame rate drops, director admits, but he is fine with that. Good that he is fine with it. We prioritize fun and playability. Donkey Kong Bonanza director Kazuya Takahashi has acknowledged frame rate drops in the game, saying that we prioritize fun and playability. But if it's fun to have a smooth game, isn't it contradictory what you're telling me? Frame drops is not fun for me. DK's latest game is effectively the next 3D Mario. It's made by the Super Mario Odyssey team after all. But where Mario's main tricks have been the likes of anti-gravity or a cap that allows Mario to possess everything, the big gimmick for a big gorilla, how Sarge would say it, the gorilla, is channeling his inner Fred Durst and breaking stuff. Destruction is at the core of the Donkey Kong Bonanza, with seemingly every bit of the environment ready to burst into voxels, which naturally can result in dropped frames, as some Donkey Kong Bonanza previews have noted. Yeah, the makers just tell us pretty much like, yeah, we are okay if you have sometimes a little bit frame drops, because it's more fun to break everything you see in your way with all kinds of... And Donkey Kong can merge with other animals to have other abilities like flying or swimming faster and all that. But usually he seems to break everything. And I don't know why though, why the game has frame drops, because it doesn't really look like super amazing visually. Like it looks like a beefed up Switch 1 game, like high resolution pretty much, and a little bit more better textures than any Switch 1 game. But other than that, it looks fairly like simple. And the voxels are just like 3D parts in the game information. Like you have a 3D point here and 3D point there, and the voxels are just like this junk. You can make like voxels smaller or bigger. Thank you for the following there. Wolf, whatever. Thank you. And I don't know why the hardware has such difficulties and gives you frame drops though. Because visually it doesn't look like super impressive to me. That's what I mean. But that's, again, what the fuck do I know? I'm just a nobody, a stupid, retarded human being. News about some mergings in the gaming world. Quadrilla, gorilla with 4 arms, like in Path of Exiles. John Thunder, he's missing Path of Exiles too, a lot. I see. Frame drops are fun. No, not for me, no. But according to the makers, they are going with that. What an incredible stupid thing to say. It is what it is. They must be using ray tracing, path tracing. No. No, like I said, the voxels are just parts, the information in the game. Like you can define those 3 points in whatever and make smaller and bigger pieces. And depending on how small the pieces you make in the game, you can break like certain pieces and make it smaller and smaller and making it into dust. Like visually, it looks like bigger chunks of a rock into dust and turning it into dust and all that. The best example, which the article talks about later too, is Metal Gear Rising, Revengeance with Raiden cutting like machines. And on the PC, you can keep cutting as long as your timer is on. You can keep cutting and cutting and making smaller and smaller parts of the enemy, right? Which is fun. That's a very enjoyable part in the gameplay. And it seems like the Bonanza Donkey Kong has similar attributes, like turning bigger chunks into smaller and smaller and smaller chunks, which is kind of fun, maybe, I assume. Way of the Samurai Studio Acquire Corp and Red Dunes Games announcing collaboration on multiple new IPs. Acquire Corp is a Japanese company, and Red Dunes Games is an what was it? United Arab Emirates company, and they pretty much are joining forces to publish the games, the future games in on the global state here. I don't know how to feel about that. It doesn't feel like generic to me, because Red Dunes is very new. They just established last year. They have no games. They have 0 IPs pretty much. And to me, it feels like Acquire Corp just needed money, and those Arabs here have the money, and that's the only reason I see like them merging together as a joint venture. Because at the end here, the Japanese tell us, as Acquire, a studio that has long valued originality from Japan in game development, we are thrilled to have found a wonderful partner in Red Dunes Games and embark on a bold new global challenge together. Why would you say that? Because they have zero substance. They have nothing to offer beside the money, obviously. So what originality are you talking about? Because it can be only your own originality. You are providing like the IPs with Tenchu. Some people might know that name in your IP list. So just tell us the truth, man. You need money, and the Arabs seem to be willing to give you the money. That's all. And on the last note here, I hope you are not too sad about this news here. ROG Xbox LE price leak seemingly just surfaced online, and I'm pretty worried for the Asus handheld. I already reported when that came out, like announced by Microsoft and Asus themselves, and the prices seem have to be risen, which is not a good sign. I already found them way too expensive, but now we get even higher prices. Spotted by Spanish games publication 3 Juegos, the suspected Asus ROG Xbox LE price actually fed straight through the Google product box. According to the fetched metadata, the base Asus ROG Xbox LE will come in at €599, whereas the top-end ROG Xbox LE X has a far higher €899 price tag. That translates to roughly $699 and $1,050 respectively, and just so happens to be how much you'll pay for a OG Asus ROG Ally and its ex-sibling in Europe. Effectively, it points towards the company using the same MSRP structure for its Xbox flavored portables as it does for its own handheld gaming PCs. But that's exactly what I've been fearing. So it uses just the very first reported US price tag, but in euro, and makes it already super more expensive. I already told they are not going to have a lot of success with those, because Microsoft is obviously leaving the hardware console market. They are not going to produce it themselves anymore, no matter how often they word it like, yeah, our hardware, it's not your hardware, you're just leaving the manufacturing to all other companies, because everything is an Xbox. Remember that. Half a year ago now, it's already half a year ago, so I think, they told us everything is an Xbox. By that, they meant we're going to tune our Xbox app on the Windows 11 systems, and wherever you can install Windows 11 home, you can play Xbox. That's what they are telling us. And I am for sure not going to pay them $1,050 for a portable when I can get like a Steam Deck who has way better performance overall with better tuned games and all that. We might see a change in 5 years or whatever, but until then, the Steam Deck probably 2 or 3 comes out, or who knows really. But I'm not very happy about those price tags. It seems like a bad choice. I don't think Asus is going to make a lot of money with that, but if they might get an exclusive for a few years before everybody else gets it, the treatment of an official Microsoft hardware, who knows? Ike is an Xbox. Oh, you want to touch my buttons, Bimo? That sounds gay, huh? You want to be gay. Anyhow, give me all your money, as usual. No. If you want to read everything yourself, down in the video description, all are the articles linked. You can enjoy it in your own time pacing if you want. That's all. Other than that, that was it for the Switzerland Play It news channel segment. Every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. I talk about gaming news, I talk about movie news, I talk about sometimes show news and all that. Because it's important to keep your eyes open about woke shit. Oh, we didn't got our woke Superman. I'm a little bit saddened. RFP. But that's life, man. We can't be all the time woke. Sometimes we need to be based. I guess that's the word. Bitch! Oh shit, I forgot. I changed the profile, but I forgot to start it. I'm going to start it just because of you, Ball of Tennis, of your generosity there. I can put it on screen too. But we're going to keep an eye now on some alerts. We need to see some alerts. I thank you for that. Standard Error was the last follower 4 days ago or something like that.
Oh shit!
Dr. OK subscribed, which he did not. He got it from Haste, by the way. Because there, yeah, that's this way. Haste. Yeah, next news tomorrow, 10 a.m. as usual. I hope I'm gonna find a lot of interesting stuff. Or not interesting stuff, who knows. Anyhow, I hope you have a great rest of your day, wherever you are, maybe night, like ever Eden, or morning, or whatever. I thank you for being around. It was very enjoyable having the chat alive. I would like to see that even more often with new people. I got some new people today. We're gonna see them right now in the credits. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Fuck off, the Rumblebot. You didn't do shit.